Captain Lee Daeho stared out at the stars from the bridge of his small patrol ship. Earth looked tiny behind him, just another blue dot in the endless black of space. He had been flying these routes for 10 years, watching bigger and stronger. Alien ships passed by without even noticing his existence. The galaxy did not care about humans. They were the new kids, the weak ones who joined the big space club only 150 years ago. Other alien races had been traveling between stars for thousands of years. They had better ships, better weapons, and better technology. Humans were only good for digging in mines and doing jobs that nobody else wanted. Lee Daeho knew this, but he still felt proud to wear his Earth defense uniform. Even if other aliens laughed at their small fleet of outdated ships, he would keep flying and keep watching the space around his home planet. On the planet below, Dr. Park Soo-jin was working late again in her secret laboratory. She had been studying something called dark matter for 5 years. Most scientists thought she was wasting her time. Dark matter was invisible and seemed impossible to use for anything practical. But Park Soo-jin believed it held the key to changing everything. Her team was small, just 12 people working in a hidden facility under the mountains of Korea. They had no funding from the government and no support from the big universities. The Galactic Science Council had rejected her research papers 3 times, saying her ideas were primitive human thinking. But tonight was different. The test results on her computer screen showed something amazing. After 5 years of failures, she had finally found a way to grab hold of dark matter and make it do what she wanted. "Are you seeing this?" she asked her assistant, engineer Jang Mi-young. Jang Mi-young looked at the numbers, and her eyes grew wide. "The dark matter is responding to our signals. We actually did it." Park Soo-jin smiled for the first time in months. "Call Admiral Kim Bo-ram. Tell her we need to meet tomorrow morning. And Jang Mi-young, tell no one else about this. Not yet." Across the city, Admiral Kim Bo-ram was reading another report about how weak Earth's defenses were compared to other worlds. The Galactic Confederation had 40,000 member planets, and Earth ranked near the bottom in military strength. They had only 200 ships, and most of them were old cargo vessels with small guns attached. The other admirals in the galaxy commanded fleets of massive battleships that could destroy entire moons. Earth's biggest ship was smaller than their escape pods. It was embarrassing, but there was nothing Kim Bo-ram could do about it. Earth simply did not have the technology or resources to compete. Her communication device buzzed with an urgent message from Dr. Park Soo-jin. Kim Bo-ram had heard about the dark matter research but never paid much attention to it. Scientists were always working on projects that never led anywhere useful. Meanwhile, in the Capitol building of the Galactic Confederation, Ambassador Choi Han-sol sat in the back row of a huge meeting hall. Thousands of alien representatives filled the seats in front of him. Some looked like giant insects, others were made of living metal, and a few seemed to be floating clouds of gas. They were discussing trade routes and defense agreements. As usual, nobody asked for Earth's opinion. The few times Choi Han-sol tried to speak, the other ambassadors would ignore him or make jokes about the little human. Today, a representative from the Vorthak Empire was explaining why humans should not be allowed to bid on military contracts. They lack the basic technology to understand modern warfare, the alien said in a voice like grinding metal. Perhaps they should focus on what they do best, mining and manual labor. Many of the other aliens made sounds that Choi Han-sol recognized as laughter. He sat quietly and took notes, but inside he felt angry and frustrated. Earth had smart people and good ideas, but nobody in the galaxy wanted to listen. The Vorthak representative continued his speech. "I propose we reduce Earth's membership level to mining world status. They can keep their single vote on mining regulations, but they should have no say in important galactic matters." More laughter filled the hall. Choi Han-sol stood up to object, but the meeting chair, a tall, blue-skinned alien from the Nalari Collective, waved him back into his seat. "The human representative will have 30 seconds to respond," the chair said, looking bored. Choi Han-sol cleared his throat. "Earth has contributed greatly to galactic civilization. Our people work hard and follow all Confederation laws. We deserve the same respect as any other member world." The Vorthak representative made a sound like steam escaping from a machine. Respect must be earned through strength. Show us your great warships, human. Show us your advanced weapons. Until then, you are simply a source of cheap labor. The vote was held immediately. 847 worlds voted to reduce Earth's status. Only 23 voted against it, and most of those were small mining worlds like Earth. The measure passed easily. Choi Han-sol felt his heart sink as he sent the news back to Earth. Once again, humanity had been pushed down and dismissed by the galaxy's major powers. But while the galaxy's attention was focused on more important matters, Dr. Park Soo-jin was making history in her mountain laboratory. The first test of her dark matter engine had succeeded beyond her wildest dreams. A small probe had traveled from Earth to Mars in just 3 minutes, a journey that normally took months. Admiral Kim Bo-ram arrived at the laboratory early the next morning and could not believe what she was seeing. The probe had returned with perfect readings and no damage at all. The dark matter drive had worked exactly as Park Soo-jin had predicted. "How fast can this technology make a ship travel?" Kim Bo-ram asked. Park Soo-jin looked at her calculations. Based on these results, a ship with a full-size dark matter drive could cross the entire galaxy in less than a week. Maybe even faster. Kim Bo-ram stared at the numbers for a long time. If this was true, Earth could build ships that were faster than anything in the galaxy. But she needed to be careful. If other alien races learned about this technology too, soon they would try to steal it or destroy it. "We need a volunteer for the first human test flight," Kim Bo-ram said. "Someone we can trust completely." Captain Lee Dae-ho received the call that afternoon. Admiral Kim Bo-ram would not tell him details over the communication link, but she asked if he would be willing to pilot a new type of experimental ship. The mission would be dangerous and highly classified. Lee Dae-ho did not hesitate. "When do I start?" Within a month, the first human dark matter warship was complete. It looked like no ship anyone had ever seen before. The hull seemed to bend light around itself, and strange energy patterns danced across its surface. They called it the Sejong the Great, named after an ancient Korean king. Dr. Park Soo-jin had also developed something else during her research, a defensive shield that could stop any known weapon. She had not told anyone about this discovery yet, not even Admiral Kim Bo-ram. Some secrets needed to be saved for the right moment. As Captain Lee Dae-ho prepared for his first test flight, he had no idea that he was about to change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. Neither did the alien races who had spent the day laughing at human weakness. The age of human insignificance was about to end forever. 3 days after Captain Lee Dae-ho disappeared into the darkness of space, every sensor station in the galaxy detected something impossible. A ship had just appeared on the edge of Vorthak space, 50,000 light-years from Earth. The energy signature was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. The Vorthak Empire's most powerful battle computers tried to identify the strange vessel, but their databases showed nothing. The ship was sending out signals in a primitive human language, requesting permission to enter Vorthak space for peaceful contact. Commander Vakthorn of the Vorthak Third Fleet could not believe his sensors. A human ship? Here? That is impossible. It would take their fastest vessels over 200 years to reach this sector. His science officer checked the readings 3 times. "Sir, the ship appeared without any hyperspace distortion. It simply materialized out of nothing. Our instruments show massive energy levels, but we cannot identify the power source." Commander Vakthorn laughed, a sound like metal scraping against stone. "It must be some kind of trick. Send 4 patrol ships to investigate. If the humans are trying to spy on us with some new toy, we will capture it and add their technology to our own." The 4 Vorthak ships approached the human vessel, weapons ready. Each patrol ship was 3 times larger than the strange human craft and carried enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Commander Vakthorn expected the human ship to surrender immediately when it saw the overwhelming force against it. Instead, Captain Lee Dae-ho sent a polite message. "This is the Earthship Sejong the Great. We come in peace and request safe passage through your territory. We mean no harm to the Vorthak Empire." Commander Vakthorn was amused by the human's politeness. "Human vessel, you will surrender your Ship immediately. Resistance will result in your destruction. You have 10 seconds to comply. Lee Dae-ho's response surprised everyone listening. I'm afraid I cannot do that, Commander. But I have no wish to fight. Please allow me to demonstrate something. Before the Vorthak ships could react, the Sejong the Great simply vanished. Their sensors went crazy trying to track it, but the human ship had disappeared completely. Then, 3 seconds later, it reappeared directly behind the Vorthak formation. How did they do that? The Vorthak science officer whispered. Commander Vakthorn was no longer amused. All ships open fire. Destroy the human vessel. The 4 patrol ships unleashed everything they had. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and graviton. Cannons all struck the human ship at the same time. The space around the Sejong the Great lit up like a small sun as the weapons hit their target. But when the light faded, the human ship was completely undamaged. Not a single scratch marked its hull. Whatever the humans had used for defense, it made their ship untouchable. Captain Lee Dae-ho's voice came over the communication channel, still calm and polite. Commander, I told you I did not wish to fight. Your weapons cannot harm my ship, but I do not want to hurt yours either. Please step aside and let me pass. Commander Vakthorn was famous throughout the Empire for his victories in battle. He had never retreated from any enemy. But now, facing this impossible human ship, he felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. All ships, fall back to the fleet, he ordered. Send an emergency message to High Command. Tell them the humans have developed something we do not understand. Word of the encounter spread across the galaxy faster than any ship could travel. Within hours, every major power knew that a single human vessel had made the mighty Vorthak Empire retreat without firing a shot. Back on Earth, Dr. Park Soo-jin was working around the clock to build more ships. The success of Captain Lee Dae-ho's mission had proved that her dark matter technology worked perfectly. But she knew that once the galaxy realized what humans had achieved, they would not stay surprised for long. Admiral Kim Bo-ram had already approved the construction of 4 more warships. The shipyards in Earth orbit were working day and night to complete them. Engineer Jang Mi-young had designed new weapon systems that used dark matter to do things that physics said were impossible. The second ship, Admiral Yi, was ready for testing just 1 week later. Commander Yoon Tae-min, a veteran pilot, volunteered to take it on its first mission. Unlike Lee Dae-ho's peaceful contact mission, this would be a real test of the ship's capabilities. The target was a pirate base that had been attacking human cargo ships for months. The base was protected by stolen military equipment from 6 different alien races, and it was hidden inside an asteroid field that made normal attacks impossible. Commander Yoon Tae-min approached the pirate base in the Admiral Yi. The pirates had sensors, but their equipment could not detect the human ship. The dark matter hull made the ship invisible to almost every type of scanner. When the Admiral Yi finally revealed itself, it was floating directly above the pirate command center. The pirates opened fire with everything they had, but their weapons passed through empty space. The human ship existed in the same location, but somehow the energy beams could not touch it. Yoon Tae-min activated the ship's new weapon system. Instead of firing energy or projectiles, the Admiral Yi reached out with dark matter and simply turned off the pirate base's power systems. Every weapon, every shield, every computer stopped working instantly. Then the ship sent a message to the pirates. This is Commander Yoon Tae-min of the Earth Defense Force. Your base is now defenseless. Surrender immediately, and we will allow you to leave in your escape pods. The pirate leader, a Nalari criminal named Zeph-9, had never heard of humans doing anything more impressive than mining asteroids, but his instruments were telling him that a single human ship had just disabled his entire operation without breaking a sweat. Impossible, Zeph-9 said to his crew. Run a full diagnostic on all systems. The humans must be using some kind of computer virus. But the diagnostic showed that nothing was wrong with their equipment. Every system was simply being held frozen by some kind of external force. The pirates were completely helpless. Zeph-9 had no choice but to surrender. As his crew evacuated to their escape pods, he sent an emergency signal to his contacts throughout the galaxy. The message was simple, but terrifying. Stay away from human ships, they have technology that makes them gods. News of the pirate base incident reached the Galactic Confederation within days. Ambassador Choi Han-sol was sitting in the same meeting hall where he had been humiliated just weeks before, but now the atmosphere was completely different. The same aliens who had laughed at Earth's weakness were now asking urgent questions about human military capabilities. The Vorthak representative who had called humans primitive was demanding answers about the mysterious ships that had appeared in their territory. Ambassador Choi, said the Nalari chair, we need to understand what Earth has developed. These reports of human vessels with impossible capabilities are causing panic throughout the galaxy. Choi Han-sol smiled calmly. Earth has always been committed to peaceful development and scientific research. If our scientists have made some breakthroughs, we are happy to discuss cooperation with our galactic neighbors. But privately, he was enjoying the worried looks on the faces that had mocked him for so many years. Finally, the galaxy was taking Earth seriously. The panic was just beginning. Intelligence reports were flooding in from across the galaxy about human ships appearing in impossible places. A cargo vessel had been spotted near the galactic core, a region that took most ships months to reach. Another human ship had been seen surveying star systems that were supposedly empty. Most disturbing of all, the humans seemed to have ships that could exist in multiple places at the same time. Sensor stations would track a human vessel in one sector, only to receive reports of the same ship appearing simultaneously in a completely different part of the galaxy. General Nam Hyun-woo was coordinating Earth's new military operations from a command center that had been built in just 2 weeks. He was watching reports come in from human ships all over the galaxy, and he was amazed at how quickly everything was changing. 6 months ago, we had 200 outdated patrol boats, he said to his staff. Today, we have ships that can travel anywhere in the galaxy instantly and cannot be harmed by any known weapon. The other races are terrified. Scientist Oh Kyung-suk, who had helped develop the dark matter shield technology, was studying the psychological reports coming from alien worlds. General, we may have created something too powerful. Some species are talking about fleeing to other galaxies rather than sharing space with us. General Nam Hyun-woo considered this carefully. Earth had spent 150 years being the weakest member of galactic civilization. Now, in just a few weeks, they had become the strongest. The question was what to do with that power. Continue monitoring alien reactions, he decided. But make sure our ships act peacefully. We want the galaxy to respect us, not hate us. As the month ended, 3 more human dark matter warships had been completed. The Turtle Ship, King Sejong, and Ghost of Seoul were each more advanced than the last. Each ship carried weapons and defensive systems that seemed to violate the basic laws of physics. The galaxy was beginning to realize that everything had changed. The weak little species that everyone had ignored for 150 years had somehow become the most powerful force in known space, and nobody understood how they had done it. The emergency meeting of the hegemony of distant stars lasted for 3 days. 7 of the galaxy's most powerful military forces had gathered to discuss what they called the human problem. The Vorthak Empire, Nalari Collective, Kree Republic, Xanthon Federation, Morphic Alliance, Stellar Dominion, and the Ancient Ethereal Assembly had never agreed on anything before. But fear of Earth's new technology had united them. Supreme War Leader Cass Vell of the Vorthak Empire stood before the Yar. Assembled representatives. His armor gleamed under the meeting hall's lights, and his forearms gestured dramatically as he spoke. The humans have developed weapons that make our fleets obsolete, he declared. If we do not act now, they will dominate the entire galaxy. I propose we combine our forces and demand they surrender this technology immediately. Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime of the Nalari Collective activated a holographic display showing the most recent intelligence reports. Our scientists have analyzed every encounter with human vessels. Their ships can travel faster than anything we have ever seen. They can become invisible to our sensors. Their defensive systems stop our most powerful weapons, and somehow, they can exist in multiple locations at the same time. The representative from the Ancient Ethereal Assembly, a being of pure energy called the Voice of Ages, spoke in a tone like wind through empty caves. In 10,000 years of galactic civilization, no species has ever developed technology this advanced so quickly. The humans went from primitive mining vessels to impossible warships in less than 6 months. This violates everything we know about technological development. War Minister Drac Tool of the Morphic Alliance slammed his tentacle on the table. Then we must take this technology before they become too strong to stop. I have assembled the largest battle fleet in the history of my people, 200 ships including our most advanced dreadnoughts. The other representatives nodded in agreement. Within hours, the largest military force in galactic history was moving toward the Sol system. 200 warships from 7 different races, each one more powerful than anything Earth had possessed just months before. The fleet was commanded by Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime, whose strategic mind had won 100 battles across the galaxy. He was confident that even if human technology was impressive, it could not stand against such overwhelming numbers. Back on Earth, Admiral Kim Bo-Ram received the intelligence reports about the approaching enemy fleet. Her staff was nervous. 200 alien warships was more firepower than Earth had ever faced. But Kim Bo-Ram was strangely calm. "How many ships do we have ready for combat?" she asked Fleet Admiral Kang Min-ho, who had been promoted to command Earth's growing dark matter fleet. 5 ships are fully operational, Admiral," Kang Min-ho replied. "The Sejong the Great, Admiral Yi, Turtle Ship, King Sejong, and Ghost of Seoul. 3 more will be ready next week." Kim Bo-Ram's staff looked worried. 5 ships against 200? Even with our advanced technology, those odds seem impossible. But Fleet Admiral Kang Min-ho smiled. "You haven't seen what our ships can really do yet." Admiral Kim Bo-Ram requested permission to deploy the fleet for a full demonstration. The enemy fleet arrived at the edge of the Sol system exactly 1 week later. They formed a battle line that stretched across space for thousands of kilometers. Each ship bristled with weapons that could crack planets. The combined firepower was enough to sterilize a dozen star systems. Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime sent a message toward Earth. "Primitive humans, you have developed technology that threatens galactic stability. Surrender your dark matter ships and research data immediately. You have 1 hour to comply, or we will take them by force." Ambassador Choi Han-sol, speaking from Earth's orbital station, responded politely. "Honored representatives of the galactic community, Earth appreciates your concern. However, we cannot surrender technology that is vital to our planet's defense. We hope we can resolve this situation peacefully." Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime was not surprised by the human response. He had expected them to be stubborn. "Very well. All ships prepare for battle. We will disable their vessels and take what we need." That was when the 5 human ships appeared. They did not come from Earth or any other location the aliens could track. They simply materialized in space, scattered throughout the enemy formation. The Sejong the Great appeared directly in front of the alien flagship. The Admiral Yi materialized above the Vorthak squadron. The turtle ship showed up in the middle of the Nalari battle group. But the Ghost of Seoul was the most disturbing. Captain Song Yunji's ship appeared to be in 5 different places at the same time. The alien sensors could not figure out which image was real and which were somehow fake. Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime stared at his tactical display in confusion. His computers were showing human ships scattered throughout his fleet, but that should have been impossible. No ship could move that fast or appear in multiple locations without some kind of warning. "All ships open fire," he commanded. "Destroy the human vessels immediately." 100 alien warships unleashed their weapons at the same time. The space around the Sol system lit up like a supernova as energy beams, plasma cannons, graviton torpedoes, and quantum disruptors all fired at once. It was the largest display of firepower in galactic history. But when the light faded, all 5 human ships were completely untouched. Captain Lee Daeho's voice came over the communication channel from the Sejong the Great. "Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime, we warned you that we do not wish to fight. Your weapons cannot harm our ships. Please reconsider your actions." Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime felt something he had never experienced in his long military career: complete helplessness. His most advanced weapons had no effect on the human vessels. It was like trying to punch smoke. "Impossible," he whispered. "Nothing can be completely invulnerable." That was when the human ships began to move. The Admiral Yi, commanded by Yoon, Taemin suddenly appeared inside the Vorthak formation. Not near it, not beside it, but actually inside the space occupied by a massive Vorthak dreadnought. Both ships existed in the same location at the same time, which should have been physically impossible. The turtle ship began moving through the enemy fleet at impossible speeds. It would appear next to one alien vessel, then instantly be beside another ship thousands of kilometers away. The alien gunners could not target something that moved faster than their sensors could track. The King Sejong demonstrated another terrifying capability. It reached out with some kind of invisible force and simply turned off the weapon systems on 20 alien ships at once. The vessels were still intact, but all their guns had stopped working. But the Ghost of Seoul was the most frightening of all. Captain Song Yoonji's ship began appearing inside enemy vessels themselves. It would materialize in the middle of an alien ship's bridge, causing panic among the crew, then disappear before anyone could react. Within minutes, the largest battle fleet in galactic history had been reduced to complete helplessness. None of their weapons could touch the human ships. None of their sensors could properly track the enemy, and the humans were demonstrating capabilities that violated everything the aliens thought they knew about physics. Fleet Admiral Kang Min-ho's voice echoed across the communication channels. "Attention, alien fleet. As you can see, resistance is futile. However, Earth has no desire to destroy your ships or harm your crews. We will now disable your vessels to prevent any further aggressive actions." What happened next would be talked about in military academies for generations. One by one, each of the 200 alien warships simply stopped working. Their engines shut down, their weapons powered off, their shields collapsed, and their life support systems switched to emergency backup power. The humans had disabled the entire fleet without firing a single shot or causing a single casualty. Diplomatic attaché Lim Jae-sung appeared on the main communication channel. He was speaking from the bridge of the Sejong the Great, looking calm and professional. "Honored fleet commanders," he said, "Earth does not wish to be your enemy. We have disabled your ships to prevent further conflict, but we have not harmed anyone. Your life support systems are fully functional, and we will provide assistance if needed. However, we must ask that you return to your home territories and inform your governments that Earth is not a threat to galactic peace. We seek only to defend ourselves and our allies." Fleet Admiral Zahn Prime sat in his disabled flagship, staring at the human diplomat on his screen. Everything he had believed about warfare, about technology, about the balance of power in the galaxy had been destroyed in less than an hour. "How?" he asked quietly. "How did a primitive species develop such impossible technology?" Lim Jae-sung smiled politely. "We are not as primitive as you believed, Fleet Admiral. Earth has many secrets that we have never shared with the galaxy. Perhaps it is time for the galactic community to reconsider its assumptions about other species." Dr. Baek In-soo, who had been monitoring alien communications from Earth, was amazed by what she was seeing. "Admiral Kim Bo-ram, their entire communications network is going crazy. Every alien government is receiving reports about our capabilities. Some species are requesting emergency sessions of their ruling councils." Kim Bo-ram nodded. "Good. Let them discuss what they have seen. The galaxy needs to understand that Earth is no longer the weak little planet." 6 months after the great demonstration that shocked the galaxy, President Moon Seo-hyun stood on the observation deck of humanity's newest space station orbiting Jupiter. Below her, the largest shipyard in galactic history was taking shape. Thousands of construction robots worked around the clock, building dark matter warships at a pace that amazed even Earth's engineers. 50 new ships this month, reported Admiral Shin Jung-min, the new commander of Earth's expanding fleet. Each one more advanced than anything we built before. Our engineers are learning new things about dark matter technology every day, President. Moon Seo-hyun watched as another massive warship rolled out of the construction bay. The vessel was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, its dark hull seeming to bend space around itself. "How many total ships do we have now, Admiral?" 237 combat vessels, Madam President, Shin Jung-min replied, plus 400 support ships, cargo vessels, and exploration craft. Our fleet is now larger than most galactic governments. The president nodded thoughtfully. In less than a year, Earth had gone from having the weakest military in the galaxy to commanding a force that could challenge entire civilizations. But with that power came responsibility, and President Moon was still deciding how to use it. Her thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of negotiator Han So-young, Earth's new diplomatic leader. Han So-young had been meeting with representatives from dozens of alien governments, all of them eager to establish better relationships with humanity. "Madam President," Han So-young said, "I have received 17 formal requests for protection agreements this week. The Alterian Republic is offering us exclusive mining rights to 3 star systems in exchange for defense guarantees. The Centauri Federation wants to hire our ships to protect their trade routes." President Moon Seo-hyun was still getting used to how much the galaxy had changed. Just a year ago, these same governments had treated Earth like a minor mining colony. Now they were competing with each other to win human favor. "What about the major powers?" she asked. "The ones who sent that fleet to threaten us?" Han So-young smiled. "The Vorthak Empire has quietly requested a meeting about mutual security, cooperation. The Nalari Collective wants to discuss technology sharing agreements. Even the ancient Ethereal Assembly has sent messages asking about peaceful coexistence." Intelligence Chief Ryu Dong-hyuk appeared on the communication screen from his office on Earth. "Madam President, our monitoring stations are detecting some interesting developments. 3 minor governments have declared independence from their former overlords, knowing that Earth ships are nearby to protect them if needed. The old galactic power structure is collapsing. This was exactly what President Moon had been worried about. Earth's sudden rise to power was not just changing human status in the galaxy, it was destroying the stability that had existed for thousands of years. "We need to be very careful," she decided. "We did not develop this technology to become galactic conquerors. Send messages to all interested parties. Earth is willing to discuss protection agreements, but only with governments that respect the rights of all species, including their own citizens."
Meanwhile, across the galaxy, former superpowers were struggling to adapt to the new reality. On the Vorthak homeworld, Supreme War leader Casvel was facing the most serious political crisis in the history of his empire. The humans have made
"Our entire military obsolete," declared General Vakshan during an emergency meeting of the Vorthak High Command. "Our newest dreadnoughts are like toys compared to their dark matter ships. We cannot protect our territory or our people." Casvel knew this was true, but admitting it felt like destroying everything the Vorthak Empire stood for. His people had been the galaxy's dominant military power for over 2,000 years. Now, a species they had considered primitive had made them weak in comparison. "What do our spies report about human intentions?" he asked. Intelligence Director Vac Prime consulted his reports. "The humans appear to be genuinely interested in peace, Supreme Leader. They have not attacked any of our colonies or trade routes. When our cargo ships have encountered human vessels, the humans have been polite and helpful." This made the situation even more frustrating for Casvel. It would have been easier to understand if the humans were aggressive conquerors like the Vorthak themselves, but the humans seemed to want cooperation instead of domination. "Send a secret message to their President Moon," Casvel finally decided. "Tell her that the Vorthak Empire is interested in discussing a non-aggression pact." Similar conversations were happening on dozens of worlds throughout the galaxy. The old order was changing, and everyone was trying to figure out where they fit in the new one. On Earth Colony, Governor Kim Aaron was coordinating humanity's first expansion beyond the Sol system. Unlike the aggressive colonization efforts of other species, Earth's expansion was careful and respectful. They only established colonies on uninhabited worlds, and they always checked with local governments before setting up any permanent facilities. "The Baomea colony on Kepler 442b is thriving," she reported to President Moon during their weekly meeting. "The dark matter terraforming systems have created a perfect environment in just 3 months. We could have a city of 1 million people there within 2 years." President Moon was amazed by how quickly dark matter technology had advanced. Dr. Park Soo-jin's original breakthrough had led to discoveries that seemed to have no limits. Dark matter could be used for travel, defense, weapons, terraforming, and even creating materials that had never existed before. "How are the local alien governments reacting to our colonies?" she asked. "Very positively, Madam President," Kim Aaron replied. "The Rigel Commonwealth has asked us to establish a colony in their territory to help protect them from pirates." The Proxima Alliance wants to learn our terraforming techniques. Everyone sees Earth colonies as symbols of security and prosperity. But not everyone in the galaxy was happy with Earth's rise to power. On the hidden world of Nexus Prime, representatives from several criminal organizations were meeting to discuss the human problem. Crime Lord Vex 9 of the Shadow Syndicate was angry about how human ships had been disrupting illegal activities throughout the galaxy. "These humans have ruined our operations in 17 sectors," he complained. "Their ships appear out of nowhere and disable our vessels before we can react. We have lost millions of credits in the past 6 months." Pirate Queen Zara Keth nodded in agreement. "My fleets used to terrorize 3 star systems. Now if a human ship appears, my crews refuse to fight. They know their weapons are useless against dark matter technology." But Smuggler King Jax Tor had a different perspective. "Maybe we are looking at this wrong. The humans seem to care about justice and protecting innocent people. What if we offered to work with them instead of against them?" The other criminals stared at him in shock. Working with law enforcement was the ultimate betrayal in their world. "Think about it," Jax Tor continued. "The humans are now the most powerful force in the galaxy, but they still need information about criminal activities. If we provide intelligence about our competitors, they might be willing to overlook some of our smaller operations." It was a dangerous idea, but as reports came in about more criminal organizations being destroyed by human ships, some of the crime lords began to consider it seriously. Back on Earth, Dr. Park Soo-jin was working on her most ambitious project. Yet, she had discovered that dark matter could be used to create a communication network that worked instantly across any distance. Messages sent through dark matter channels could reach the other side of the galaxy in real time. "This will change everything," she explained to Admiral Shin Jung-min during a demonstration. "Instead of waiting weeks or months for messages to travel between star systems, we can have instant communication with any human ship or colony in the galaxy." The implications were enormous. Earth could coordinate its activities across the galaxy in ways that had never been possible before. Human colonies would never be isolated or cut off from help. Earth's growing fleet could respond to threats instantly, no matter where they occurred. "When will the network be operational?" Shin Jung-min asked. "The first phase should be complete within 3 months, Park Soo-jin replied. "We will have instant communication with all major human facilities and ships. The second phase will extend the network to our alien allies." As the year ended, President Moon Seo-hyun looked back at how much had changed. Earth now controlled the most powerful military force in galactic history, but they had chosen to use that power to protect others, rather than conquer them. Human colonies were spreading throughout the galaxy, bringing prosperity and security wherever they went. Former enemies were asking to become allies, and the ancient order of galactic civilization was being replaced by something new and better. But Moon Seo-hyun knew that their greatest challenges were still ahead. With great power came great responsibility, and Earth was about to learn exactly how much responsibility came with being the galaxy's new guardians. In the depths of space, near the galactic core, sensors were detecting something that had been sleeping for millions of years. Something ancient and hungry was beginning to stir, and when it fully awakened, Earth's dark matter technology would face its greatest test. 2 years had passed since Earth's dark matter warships first shocked the galaxy. Grand Admiral Park Chan-ho stood on the bridge of the massive command ship Unity, watching his fleet prepare for the most important battle in galactic history. Around him floated 500 of humanity's most advanced warships, each one a masterpiece of dark matter technology that would have been impossible to imagine just 3 years ago. But today, they faced an enemy that was older than most stars in the galaxy. The crisis had begun 6 months earlier when deep space monitoring stations detected strange energy readings from the galactic core. At first, scientists thought it was just unusual stellar activity. But as the readings grew stronger, It became clear that something was waking up in the most dangerous region of the galaxy. Xenobiologist Lee Young-sik had been the first to understand what they were dealing with. These energy patterns match descriptions in the oldest alien historical records, he had reported to Earth's Emergency Council. The ancients called them the Devourers, entities that consume entire planets to fuel their existence. They were supposed to be myths, but the myths were real. Within weeks, entire star systems near the galactic core began going dark. Not destroyed, but literally consumed. Stars, planets, asteroids, everything converted into energy to feed creatures the size of moons. The traditional galactic powers had tried to respond first. The Vorthak Empire sent their remaining battle fleets to investigate. The Nalari Collective deployed their most advanced scientific vessels. The ancient ethereal assembly emerged from centuries of isolation to confront the threat. None of them had returned. The last transmission from Fleet Admiral Zon Prime of the Nalari forces had been terrifying in its simplicity. They are not ships. They are not machines. They are alive, and our weapons are food to them. Only the humans might be able to stop this. Only dark matter technology has a chance. That message had reached Earth just as President Moon Seo-hyun was meeting with representatives from across the galaxy. The great meeting hall that had once been used to humiliate human ambassadors was now filled with alien leaders begging Earth for protection. Honored President Moon, the Vorthak war leader Casvel had said, his pride completely abandoned, "My empire offers everything we have to support Earth's efforts. Our ships, our soldiers, our entire civilization is at your disposal." Similar offers had come from every major government. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years were united by their terror of the Devourers, but everyone knew that conventional weapons were useless against entities that fed on energy itself. Only humanity's dark matter technology offered any hope. Grand Admiral Park Chan-ho had volunteered to lead the mission into the galactic core. He was Earth's most experienced commander, having led successful operations in dozens of star systems over the past 2 years. But this was different from anything he had faced before. "Admiral," reported Captain Song Yoon-ji from the stealth vessel Ghost of Seoul, "our scouts have made contact with the outer edge of the Devourer swarm. The entities are incredible. Each one is larger than our biggest space stations, and they move through space like they are swimming through water." Park Chan-ho studied the tactical displays showing what their scouts had discovered. The Devourers were not ships or machines. They were living creatures that existed in the vacuum of space. They fed by converting matter directly into energy, and they had been sleeping at the galactic core for millions of years, until something had awakened them. "How many are there?" he asked. "Our long-range sensors detect at least 50 individual entities," Song Yoon-ji replied. "But Admiral, there might be more. The energy interference makes it difficult to get accurate counts. 50 creatures, each one capable of destroying entire star systems. Even with humanity's advanced technology, this would be the greatest challenge Earth had ever faced." Colony Governor Kim A-rin's voice came over the communication channel from the human colony on New Seoul, one of the settlements that was directly in the path of the approaching Devourers. "Admiral Park, we have successfully evacuated all human colonies in the projected danger zone. But there are 17 alien worlds with billions of inhabitants that cannot be moved in time." Park Chan-ho felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Billions of lives depended on his decisions in the next few hours. If humanity failed here, the Devourers would consume world after world until the entire galaxy was empty. "All ships prepare for battle," he commanded. "This is not just about protecting Earth anymore. This is about protecting all life in the galaxy." Peacekeeper Commander John Hai-wan, who had been coordinating joint human-alien peacekeeping forces throughout the galaxy, was monitoring communications from the threatened worlds. "Admiral, we are receiving thousands of messages from alien governments. They are all saying the same thing. If humanity cannot stop the Devourers, they will surrender to whatever fate awaits them. The galaxy has put all its hope in us." The human fleet moved deeper into the galactic core, where space itself seemed different. The concentration of stars created a brilliant, dangerous environment where radiation levels would have been fatal to most species. But human dark matter shields protected the crews from everything the hostile environment could throw at them. As they approached the devourer swarm, Park Chan-ho got his first direct look at the entities that threatened all galactic civilization. They were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Creatures of pure energy wrapped in shells that looked like living crystal. They moved with graceful, fluid motions that seemed impossible for something so massive. But their beauty could not hide their destructive power. As the human fleet watched, one of the devourers approached a small planetoid and simply absorbed it. The rocky world dissolved into pure energy that the creature consumed like food. All ships, maintain maximum distance, Park Chan-ho ordered. We need to understand what we are dealing with before we engage. Dr. Oh Kyung-suk, Earth's leading expert on dark matter physics, was monitoring the creatures from her laboratory ship. Admiral, these entities are unlike anything in our scientific databases. They seem to exist partially outside normal spacetime. That might be why conventional weapons cannot harm them. The energy passes through the parts of them that exist in other dimensions. Can our dark matter weapons affect them? Park Chan-ho asked. Unknown, sir. But dark matter does interact with multiple dimensions simultaneously. It might be our only chance. The decision point came when the devourers detected the human fleet. All 50 creatures turned toward the human ships with what seemed like curiosity. They had probably never encountered dark matter technology before. One of the creatures approached the human formation. It was enormous, easily 3 kilometers long, and covered in crystalline structures that pulsed with internal light. As it came closer, the human sensors detected something unexpected. Admiral, reported the science officer. The entity is trying to communicate with us. Park Chan-ho was surprised. Can we understand it? The message is coming through subspace, but our computers are translating it. The entity is asking, it wants to know what we are. For a moment, Park Chan-ho considered trying to negotiate with the creatures. But then he remembered the 17 alien worlds filled with billions of innocent people who were counting on him. Tell it that we are the guardians of this galaxy, he replied, and we will not allow it to consume any more worlds. The response came immediately, transmitted directly into the minds of every human in the fleet. The voice was ancient beyond measure, filled with the weight of millions of years. Guardians, you are children playing with forces beyond your understanding. We have consumed 1,000 galaxies. Your dark matter toys cannot stop us. That was when the battle began. The devourers attacked not with weapons, but with pure energy that tried to drain the power from human ships. But the dark matter shields held, turning the creatures' feeding attempts back on themselves. Park Chan-ho's fleet responded with everything they had developed over the past 2 years. Dark matter torpedoes that existed in multiple dimensions, simultaneously. Energy beams that could reshape spacetime itself, and most importantly, the ability to exist in the same multi-dimensional space as their enemies. The battle raged across light years of space. Human ships darted in and out of the devourer formation, their dark matter drives allowing them to appear and disappear faster than the ancient creatures could track. But the devourers were learning, adapting their attacks to counter human technology. Admiral, Captain Lee Dae-ho reported from the Sejong the Great, conventional dark matter weapons are only slowing them down. We need something more powerful. Park Chan-ho made a decision that would either save the galaxy or destroy his entire fleet. All ships prepare for synchronized dark matter pulse. We are going to try something that has never been attempted before. Dr. Park Soo-jin's voice came over the communication channel from Earth. She had been monitoring the battle and had calculated a desperate strategy. Admiral, if all your ships release their dark matter energy at the same time, you might be able to create a dimensional barrier around the entire devourer swarm. It would trap them in a pocket dimension where they cannot affect our reality.